Good evening. Welcome to Hungarian Public Media's News in English, Hungary Reports. I'm Híradó, bringing you today's news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin. Let's jump right into it. The Danube's water level has dropped at least 40 centimeters since its peak on Saturday, but it still hasn't reached a level where divers can reach the sunken pleasure boat safely. It only complicates the mission that the mermaid is probably deeper down than instruments have shown so far. So it's not 6-7 meters, it's rather 8 to 9 meters below the surface. The rescue team worked all day on Sunday again. They may be able to shield the area from the currents somewhat on Monday, which could allow divers to submerge more safely.
This is what the site of the boat accident that occurred on Wednesday looks like from the air. The authorities aren't just searching the Danube from the water and the shores. Helicopters also overlook the search and rescue operations. The M1 News crew was allowed onto one of the police's helicopters. Engineers, water experts, Hungarian and foreign divers consult continuously at the rescue base created on Margaret Island. Hundreds of professionals work non-stop on determining the vessel's exact position and on finding the missing passengers as quickly and as safely as possible. Professionals are still working on the so-called shielding technique, where they would place a structure in the water to decrease the speed of the currents. This is essential for divers to be able to submerge safely. The last time they attempted to see the wreckage from close-up was on Friday, but they gave up because it was too dangerous. The Danube's water level peaked in the capital on Saturday and has dropped more than 10 centimeters since, but the water is still much higher than it was on the night of the accident, for example. Meanwhile, divers also assume that the vessel is farther than they thought, at up to 9 meters below the surface. Professionals plan to approach the wreckage yet again on Monday.
The Korean tourist family members also follow every step of the rescue mission. They hope that the bodies of their loved ones can be recovered from the boat's wreckage, which could at least help the families process the tragedy. The Hungarian Protestant Church has launched a donation campaign to help the families, since they've had good relations with the South Korean Protestant community for some time.
The faithful of the Debrecen Reformed Church pray for the Hungarian and Korean victims of the boating accident together. The Korean flag on the altar represented that they feel for the family and relatives and understand their pain. The Hungarian Protestant Church launched a donation drive for the family members of the victims. Several family members of the victims who were there on the Mermaid arrived to Budapest on Friday. Among them were the relatives of the 7 Korean tourists who lost their lives, and they identified the bodies. Family members of the missing passengers wait for the wreckage to be pulled from the water at the counter-terrorism base on Margaret Island. Some try comforting one another, others watch the special rescue team's every move tensely. According to Korean culture, the disappearance of a loved one is a greater tragedy than death. The Korea Times reported that the South Korean travel agency who organized the victims' trip has cancelled all future Danube boat trips, is offering other dryland alternatives, and is also offering full refunds for anyone who has already booked their trip. The South Korean tourist said he was planning to see Budapest at night, but after what's happened, he isn't eager to get on a boat.
I feel really bad. I think I am just lucky to be here, because I just came in like a day later, so I just really feel so bad.
South Korea has asked Hungary to investigate the cause of the boat accident as soon as possible and to name those responsible. The captain of the hotel ship that crashed into the Mermaid was taken into custody on Thursday. The 64-year-old man could also pay about 45,000 euros of bail, but the prosecution appealed that possibility. Up until Budapest Municipal Court decides otherwise, the captain will remain under arrest. An increasing number of people are paying their respects before the South Korean embassy and at the Danube riverside. There are black flags on Margaret Bridge, and many have placed flowers and candles beneath them to commemorate the victims.
The new state bonds with higher interest rates than ever before are available for purchase starting Monday. The objective is that as big a portion as possible of Hungarian state debt be financed by Hungarian families. That way, returns on the investment paid by the government will stay within the country and won't leave to foreign investors.
The popularity of state bonds has stayed year after year. According to fresh data, state bonds owned by the population are worth around 24 billion euros. Starting Monday, there will be yet another reason to invest money into government securities, since the Ministry of Finance is launching the Hungarian State Bond Plus program, which will ensure higher yields than ever before. Investors receive 3.5% interest already in the first 6 months, and it pays a 4% interest by the end of the first year. And the interest rates only grow from then on. Earnings will be at a yearly 6% in the 5th year. If someone invests 1 million forints in the new state securities now, they'll have 273,000 forints more in 5 years. And there aren't any risk for taking the investment out earlier. It's a good option, and not just for people who want to invest for 5 years, since the invested money can be retrieved anytime. This is a great option for someone who wants to invest their money for a year, since yields of the first year are higher than a one-year state bonds. And if they decide to keep their money invested for longer, they'll reach an even higher interest rate, this expert explained. The Prime Minister said on Kossuth Radio Friday morning that the new bonds will be good for the whole country.
Minden adat azt mutatja, hogy
The whole community is better off, because state debt isn't financed from abroad and by banks, so that's good for Hungarian families too, Viktor Orbán said. Investors in government securities issued after June won't even have to pay taxes for the returns on their investments, so the whole sum will stay with the population.
A festival called Híradó was held this weekend in Toronto, Canada, at the Budapest Park. According to organizers, it's the biggest culture, gastronomy and tradition celebration of Hungarians living in Canada. Levente Magyar, a state secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, said that economic cooperation between Hungary and Canada is much more modest than it is with similarly large countries. But, he added, there is a great interest in Hungarian foods there.
Traditional Hungarian food, handcraft products and local Hungarian organizations awaited visitors of the Hungarofest by Lake Ontario. The festival was organized by the Hungarian-Canadian Business Organization with financial support from the Hungarian state. The parliamentary secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade said that he sees a great chance that Hungarian companies' exports to Canada will significantly grow. I hope that we've succeeded in building a structure that can be used to significantly improve the Hungarian food industry exports within a few years. And we've been able to contact big Canadian companies in the industry to come to Hungary, the state secretary said. According to organizers, the festival also helps Hungarians who live in the country come closer to each other. I think that here in Canada, and especially in such a big city, it's very important that people and Hungarians don't live their lives dispersed in a big city. They have a chance to meet each other, to meet again, to get to know each other and to experience that it's good to be Hungarian, the Hungarian Consul General said. Isabella Bauer is a teacher at the Arany János Hungarian School in Hamilton. She accompanied the Rosmarin Dance Ensemble to the event. All the small communities in Toronto who are active in the area are here. We can celebrate together. It's good to see familiar faces and talk to people, to meet them, to eat good Hungarian food and to listen to Hungarian music. So this festival is great. It really brings our small Hungarian community who tries to actively stick together in Toronto together, she said.
1, 2, 3, go!
The Toronto Memorial Plaque for the heroes of 1956 was also inaugurated at a two-day event.
Head and Porcelain's exhibit, titled Painted on Porcelain, displays more than 200 decorative and useful everyday objects. The exhibit is unique because the ceramics on display represent the fusion of Eastern and Western cultures. The exhibit is open until the end of September at the Gülbaba Cultural Center in Budapest. Another exhibit shows the beauties of Székesfehérvár. Tivadar Halmai's expo, titled The Past and Present of Székesfehérvár, opened on Sunday. It shows the past and important historic events of the City of Kings, as it's also called. Two of the stories presented, for example, are Commander Votai's battle and the story of the former crowning cathedral. The show is open for visitors after Sunday service at the Nyitra Street Community Center in Székesfehérvár. That's all for today. Catch the English news every day around 11:20 p.m. local time or stream it anytime online. Coming right up are M1's other foreign language news broadcasts. Thanks for watching. Good night.